the Rural Technology Institute is a meeting where we bring chiefs and sheriffs from across the country to come and talk about either a technology solution or a challenge that they've got. One of the great things about law enforcement is that we tend to be very creative. We're the last line of defense. We're the only people that people call when there's a problem. So we tend to find creative ways of making do with whatever resources we have available. That creativity is great because while it may benefit one officer in one agency, when we can share that across the board to people across the country, those creative solutions become solutions for all of law enforcement.
A good reason to come to this is basically to build resources. I think anybody who's a good law enforcement officer is a person who knows how to use resources, or he's a good scrounge is what we like to say, and this is a good place to come and get resources, not just from the federal government, but also from the other participants in the event. When you see people present at these events, you'll see somebody get up and talk about a problem that their agency is facing, and it's not uncommon for people in the audience to basically provide the solution before they're even done making their presentation, which is sort of the magic of this event. And I would tell people that a good reason to come to this is to basically come and listen to what other issues people have, realize it doesn't matter if you're from an agency of one officer to an agency of 25,000 officers, we all have the same issues, we all have the same problems. And I think in any profession, it's important that we work together to resolve those issues. And I think these events are fantastic for doing that.
What I love watching about this is how many of the people will come with a problem, something that they're short on, that they don't know how they're going to make this work. They don't have a budget for the equipment, or they realize that there's a difficult situation in their city. And other people in the room will have that solution either in the form of a creative way that they've dealt with the problem, or technology that they're no longer using that they're happy to share, lend to this other agency until that agency can't afford to get their own. So
my presentation included, I guess, an explanation, some background and demographics of my area, and a little bit of the history of our town and our department, and basically it had to do with the fact that our department is having to be built up from almost nothing. We're blessed to have good, dedicated men. Beyond that, we have nothing else. We don't have resources. And so when I explained our situation, it was more than just the need for video recording equipment. You know, we have a lot of needs. We're a very poor community. In fact, we're the poorest community in the state. The folks that are here attending with me reacted very overwhelmingly to my presentation, and almost all of them have come up to me and said, either in person or by email, and said, hey, we have this equipment sitting on the shelf, you can have it, or we have these supplies, or we have whatever, automobiles, laptop computers that are sitting on the shelf.
I started thinking to myself, I'm like, well, we're fortunate enough to get funding for new vehicles, and I have several vehicles, I think 18 vehicles that are fully marked. I'm quite sure I could probably get him 2 or 3 cars if that's what he wanted, fully marked. As long as he comes out and picks them up, I will take care of them, make sure they're maintained for him.
You know, law enforcement's all about building partnerships and helping one another. And that's exactly what you've seen a lot of us do today, is create that partnership, extend our hand out to him and say, look, you know, there's things that we can offer you. You know, if you choose to take them, they'll be great for your organization. I think, you know, as you're hitting the ground walking, that these will be a good tool for you and your organization in the beginning. And he hasn't turned anything down. I mean, he's in a position where he is in desperate need of a lot of these things. And these are the things that a lot of us, once again, take for granted, have on the back shelf, that are wondering just how to dispose of it. And I think, you know, sometimes we forget how fortunate some of us are in our agencies, and that we can help people like the chief from Louisiana. So I think it's a good deal, and we just happen to have a officer going for training in Louisiana next month, and we're going to put a couple of those in-car video systems in the trunk of that car, and we're going to loan them to him long term until he doesn't need them anymore.
If it wasn't for places like this and these kind of conferences, you think, well, it's bad, we don't have this equipment, we don't have this technology, and then you look at a department who truly has nothing and is completely in need, and you just reflect and say, this is what this is about. Let's get them what they need. If we can help them out. And it was great. People in the class say, I've got some radios for you, I got this, I might have some tasers you can use, and whatever. And our older equipment is new equipment to them.
We're able to actually engage in conversation and help one another and network in relationships that we're going to build far beyond the 4 days that we spent together here, that will actually contact one another and utilize the information and share the information that we gather here. So this is definitely one of the most advantageous conferences I've ever been to.
I had the time to compile a list, and as I was compiling the list, I realized that everything on my list has been met by people who are here at the conference with me, whatever it is. And so it's just been really amazing to see. I'm familiar with the camaraderie and the brotherhood of police departments, but to actually see it in action and to be the primary beneficiary of that in this conference is really, it's humbling, it's overwhelming, it's exciting.
I think the reason that the Technology Institute is such an important part of our mission from the Small Rural Tribal and Border Regional Center is the fact that 17,000 of the agencies out there are small agencies. They share these problems. The more we can get out there and contact these little agencies and share these solutions in ways that benefit all of small agency law enforcement, the faster we get to a point where those aren't as big a challenges, and we can find new issues that need to be addressed.
I tell people that the Law Enforcement Technology Institutes are probably the best thing that we do out of the U.S. Department of Justice, National Institute of Justice's programs. And the reason why is because it has immediate solutions for the problems that law enforcement officers are facing today. When most people come to this room at the beginning of the week, they don't know anybody else in the room. They've come with their issues from their agency, their respective jurisdiction, and by the end of this event, they're basically a group of people who are working with each other to resolve issues in all their respective agencies and jurisdictions. And it's magic. I mean, it really is magic to see that happen.